Mars Console Gamer. Hey, Indiana Jones fans! Indiana Jones and the Great Circle Update 3 is out now for consoles and PC. This huge update includes support for new graphics features and options, optimizations, and all kinds of bug fixes. Here are all the patch notes for January 20th. New features. NVIDIA DLSS 4. Update 3 brings support for NVIDIA DLSS 4, a suite of rendering technologies that boosts frame rates, increases performance, and improves image quality. Players using supported NVIDIA hardware can enable multi-frame generation using the new transformer-based model. Ray reconstruction increases the clarity and stability of ray-traced images. DLAA and DLSS Super Resolution have also been updated to the transformer-based model. These options, when enabled, enhance native and upscaled image quality, respectively, ray-traced local lights. For players who have path tracing enabled, this update includes a new option for ray-traced shadows to include all light sources, which significantly increases the quality of shadows in interior locations. Players can also choose to keep the previous setting, which provides ray-traced shadows from the sun only. Path tracing, full ray trace support for AMD and Intel graphics cards. This update brings path tracing to supported Intel and AMD GPUs. To use path tracing, your Intel or AMD graphics card must support hardware ray tracing and have at least 16 GB of VRAM. Please make sure to download the latest drivers from your GPU manufacturer. Note that in foliage-dense locations, such as Sukhothai, reducing vegetation animation quality below the Ultra settings can reduce the occasional shadow popping that may be seen on all graphics cards using path tracing. FSR 3.1, including Frame Generation Update 3, adds support for AMD FSR 3.1 upscaling and frame generation technology. Intel XS 1.4 Update 3 also adds support for Intel XS 1.4 upscaling. Quality of life updates. Repair kits can now also be used by selecting them directly from the inventory, rather than only by selecting your broken weapon or tool. Bug fixes. Minor spoilers ahead. General. Fixed an issue where players would be unable to use ladders, squeeze through walls, or climb vines in Sukhothai, particularly during the Blessed Pearl mission. Fixed an issue that could prevent players from picking up certain medicine bottles in the Vatican. Fixed an issue that could temporarily stop you from being able to punch or block if you had picked up an item while the game was saving. Fixed an issue where the camera could be stuck in third person when backing out of certain third-person interactions. Fixed an issue where the player and enemies might take damage while walking through an open doorway after restarting a checkpoint. Fixed issue where notes might clip through the front of the screen when inspecting them. Fixed an issue where players could accidentally drop their camera or lighter while inspecting items for purchase. Fixed an issue that could make items disappear if players tried to pick up objects while vaulting over objects. Fixed an issue where inspectable items could be lost if picked up at the same moment an enemy punched you. Fixed an issue that could make the restricted area HUD marker to be offset after restarting a checkpoint. Fixed an issue where camera shake would permanently occur when revisiting Giza. Fixed an issue where a bullet could be seen in the Luger chamber even when the gun is empty. Fixed an issue where players could pour wine from their camera in the 5 Sacred Wounds puzzle. Fixed an issue where the player's view could be tilted after being released from a whip pull by Voss. Fixed an issue that caused enemy soldiers leaning on objects to spin unnaturally when alerted by the player. Graphics. Fixed remaining issues where animation update rate was inconsistent in some cutscenes, causing visible shaking or stuttering. Fixed issue where the pouring water streams were not visible during the initial collapse of the ziggurat in Sukhothai. Fixed an issue that let players see out of world in the Vatican dig site missions and quests. Fixed an issue where players could not take a photo of Uncle Sunan when revisiting Sukhothai, or after skipping a cutscene between Sunan and Pylon. Fixed an issue that could prevent collecting the fried egg field note in Sukhothai and the Ostrakan shard in Giza after restarting checkpoints. Fixed an issue that could prevent players from being able to turn in radio frequencies at the radio stations when revisiting Sukhothai, since Gina would not be present. fixed an issue where players could not unlock the Shadows Out of Time achievement if they had any ancient relics placed in the puzzle boards in Iraq, if you did not have all 50 relics in your inventory. For players who have already completed the puzzle, simply revisiting Iraq will now unlock the achievement. Fixed an issue where collecting the last ancient relic for Riddles of the Ancients did not update the counter in the UI, giving the impression there was still another to collect. Also fixed issues where this mission had no description on your map information, and certain ancient relic markers did not appear on the Sukhothai and Vatican maps. Fixed an issue that could prevent the players from recollecting Khmer cogs if they changed the puzzle difficulty after solving the Khmer Gate puzzle. Fixed an issue where the player could obtain the rebreather in Sukhothai before ever getting the objective to talk to Tongdang, preventing the player from getting the next mission objective. Fixed an issue where field notes could still be tracked even when all notes had been collected. Fixed several issues where an unneeded note marker would appear under the world. Fixed an issue where adventure books were not shown on the map after acquiring the Ziggurat Guide in Iraq. Fixed an issue where ability book and guide markers appeared on the Sukhothai map before players acquired the guides from Tongdang. Fixed an issue where certain map markers near the end of the Vatican level did not appear on the main map, but only on your local map. Fixed an issue where taking photos of the monkey posters in Sukhothai did not remove their in-world markers. Fixed an issue where the cogwheel markers might not appear if players purchased the map information pamphlet after a certain point in Sukhothai. Fixed an issue where the main Sukhothai main map could be lost if you put it down after inspecting it instead of collecting it. Fixed an issue where Gina would not leave Wat Si Sawai if you left the temple while she was talking with Aaron. Fixed an issue that could prevent the desk drawer being opened in the poker tent in Giza. Fixed an issue where Gina could open the cavern door in Iraq by herself, leading to the cavern being empty of all enemies. Added additional voice lines to help the player understand that they should run away from the Nephilim in the dream sequence in Sukhothai, rather than fight. Fixed an issue where players could not pick up the priest outfit from Antonio if they tried to do it too quickly. Fixed an issue that prevented players from getting into the boat in the escape from the hotel sequence in Sukhothai if they pushed the interact button too many times. Fixed an issue where players could spawn inside the ground when revisiting Sukhothai. Fixed an issue where the last objective of a mission was still displayed on the HUD after all adventures and fieldwork were completed in a level. Fixed an issue where the World of Knowledge quest could complete when arriving outside the Vatican for the first time. In Marshall College, we increased the visibility, the outlines of the cat mummy photo and gramophone record in Indy's office from further away. Audio. Fixed an issue where Indy would repeat his line about the yeek in the water whenever surfacing from a dive in Sukhothai. Fixed an issue where Indy would repeat dialogue about Voss's gold stash in Sukhothai. Well, you're not bribing anyone with this, Voss, long after having completed that mission. Fixed an issue where Gina would repeat her lines from the ambush. That was too close while you are in the boat. Please note this will unfortunately not correct the issue for players who are currently experiencing the bug, but it will prevent it from happening again. Improvements to combat and stealth music transitions to make them more seamless. Added sound for heavyweight enemies breaking out of a clinch. Raised the volume of the enemy-mounted machine guns in Sukhothai Hotel Shootout. Corrected the sound type when walking on the boat near Forrestal's camp in Peru. Fixed Annika Lund's effort voices in Sukhothai when she is traversing objects. Updated Indy's effort voices when sliding. Added sounds for when Indy pushes the dragon statue at the Fountain of Sacrament. Fixed Indy repeating the same VO line when picking up recipe note in Borgia Tower. Fixed issues where environmental sounds disappeared or were incorrect in several locations in the Vatican and Sukhothai. Fixed an issue where voice reactions to getting hit from a dart in Peru would get cut off prematurely. Added voice lines when photographing the sewer bridge and Great Tower Hall in the Vatican. stopped Indy from repeating his voice lines when returning to speak to Eren, or when canceling your interaction with the prayer wheel in Sukhothai. The music during the game loading sequence is now affected by the overall volume setting. Stability. Fixed a freeze that could occur when skipping the credits at the end of the game shortly after loading a save. Fixed several crashes that could occur in very specific circumstances in the following states: while writing out a save game, when picking up and interacting with objects, when updating hints while using Indy's camera, after updating gamepad bindings and then moving to a new location, when inspecting Laura's journal in Voss's office in Giza, in certain UI states, PC-specific fixes, fixed an issue that could cause the game to crash at startup with some graphics cards. Many fixes and improvements have been made to environment lights to present a more natural appearance when path tracing is enabled. Fixed an issue where NVIDIA low latency mode would cause inconsistent frame rates. Fixed issue where NVIDIA frame generation became disabled when HDR was toggled on. Fixed an issue that could prevent Xbox Cloud saves from being loaded on the Steam release of the game. Fixed an issue where game did not render correctly if using DLSS at 3440 by 1440 resolution in widescreen picture framing. Fixed an issue where players could be partially control locked when opening and closing the game bar overlay. Fixed an issue where Indy's hair was missing in reflections when using path tracing. Fixed some issues with light leaks in underground locations in Giza when path tracing is enabled. Xbox-specific fixes. Fixed an issue where some lamps' light sources would flicker or turn off, depending on viewing angle. Localization. Many text corrections and updates to menu text and subtitles across all languages. Various fixes to voiceover localization in many languages. Fixed some errors on stone tablet inscriptions in Giza and in Marshall College. Fixed some errors in the street and shop signage in Shanghai. Additional notes. We are looking into adding support for other community-requested features, such as HUD modification and support for NVIDIA RTX hair in future updates. That's it for this update. Have fun playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more updates on games, gameplay of new and older releases, console hardware, and various art.